Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're checking out the PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake Red XIII. So I hope you guys will enjoy the video, and with that being said, let's get into it. Stay tuned, guys.
Take it slow.
Okay, so first up, let's take a look at the packaging. So on the front we have the super high quality image of Red XIII himself. And right over here we have the Final Fantasy VII Remake and PlayArt Kai logos. And as you can see, the packaging is made sideways. So on the sides of the box we have the logos, once again for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's pretty much the exact same on the other side. So on the back we have various screenshots of the figure itself, and down here we have some text on the making of the figure. And here's a look at the inside of the packaging. So once again we have a nice photo of the figure itself in the pose. And over here we have some text, so feel free to pause and read if you guys want to read this. It's just a bit about the character. And right over here we have the figure itself, and a nice window display packaging to showcase the figure inside the box. Okay, so here's a look at the figure, and here's the inside of the box. And as you can see, the figure doesn't come with any accessories whatsoever. I was pretty surprised about this. You know, I thought maybe the figure would come with maybe like an interchangeable faceplate like the other remake figures. But as you can see, the figure comes with nothing, which is pretty surprising. So all we have is the packaging, the figure itself, and the instructions on how to move the eye on the figure, which is pretty cool. But yeah, just a little bit disappointing that the figure does not come with any accessories. And just a quick look at my entire PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake and AC figures. So just a quick look in case you guys want to check it out. And of course we have the remake figures at the top. So we have Rude, Sephiroth and Reno at the back. We have Aerith, Rufus Shinra, Red XIII, Cloud Strife, and Tifa. So I will have a review of every single figure here. So if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe and be sure to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these remake reviews. But anyhow guys, let's take a closer look at the PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake Red XIII. Stay tuned, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. And I've got to say guys, this is such a nice figure. I mean, I love the original Red XIII that they made from Advent Children. That was probably one of my favorites AC figures that they ever made. But you know, that figure became super rare and expensive, and I think a lot of you guys missed out on that figure. So I'm just very happy that they finally made a new Red XIII, so that all you guys who missed out on the original can pick up this new figure. Both figures are great, but I would say this new Red XIII has a much better sculpt. He looks so much more detailed. And I'll give you guys a quick comparison on both of the Red XIII figures a little bit later on in this review. But anyhow, let's take a look at what we have here. We have a very menacing looking stare, and you can even see like the nose and all the pores for the whiskers. Really amazing detail. I mean, I just love Red XIII so much. He's always been one of my favorite Final Fantasy VII characters. And you can even see some teeth in there if you open up the mouth. Right now I've got the mouth closed, but you can actually open up the mouth to expose the gums and the teeth and even the tongue. So I'll give you guys a look at the articulation a little bit later on. But as you can see, we have all these patterns, all these markings and scars on his face, the hairpiece here. Now one thing which is super cool about this figure is the fact that he's got this real metal chain on his ear, like this metal piercing, which is such a cool feature because the original Red XIII never had this. And moving down here to the arm, and we have this 13 symbol on his shoulder. Quite a nice clean paint job. And as you can see, he's pretty buff. You know, he's got a lot of muscle in here. I think he's a lot more buff compared to how he looked in Advent Children. And down here we have this gold piece of armor, like this bracelet. I'm not sure of the specific name, but it's quite nicely painted. Gives off a nice shine in the lights. And here's a look at the claws, the feet, and the other one right here. And of course we have all this amazing fur detail on the figure. This really cool looking mane, which is painted red, We have different paint jobs in here, you know, just such an amazing job. And of course we have the tail at the back. And up here we have the flame, which is made out of a translucent piece of material. And so here's the side of the figure, and we have a nice profile of the face. Yeah, check out that profile, what an amazing head sculpts. I mean, I would say this is probably my favorite, well, at least one of my favorite figures from the remake that PlayArtSky have made. It's just such a cool design. I've been waiting for this piece for such a long time, so I'm really happy to have it. Once again, we have all these nice patterns. We have the metal piercing in the ear. We even have this feather at the top here. Of course, we have the mane and the tattoo on his arm. And moving back here to the torso piece of all these nice fur details. More of these patterns on the back of the leg. And of course, the feet. Back here we have the tail, which is made out of a soft piece of plastic. It's actually kind of bendy, and you can pose it any which way you want, and it will hold that position. And so here's the other side of the figure, and we have a nice profile of the face. So this side's a little bit different. As you can see, he's missing his eye, and we have this massive scar, which is a pretty iconic trait for the character. And this side we also have two piercings, like these two metal pins on the ear. And of course we have the feather at the top. Yeah, such a nice head sculpt. We also have this, if you guys can see here, we have a couple pieces of materia on the collar, which I thought was a really cool detail. And of course we have the claws, or the paws I should say. Of course we have the back paws and more of these patterns on the back of his leg. So as you can see, the articulation is pretty exposed, which some of you guys may not like this. Of course it doesn't look the best, but it doesn't bother me too much because it's such a nice figure that it doesn't detract from the sculpt. And once again, there's a look at the flame. And here's the back of the figure. So we have a nice look at the legs with these super exposed ball hinge joints on the angle piece. And of course the actual back, let me just give you guys like a top-down view of the mane and all the fur detail. Very, very nice. Just a better look at the piece of materia on the back of the collar piece. So it looks like we have 3 materia, 2 green and 1 red. Okay, so here's a comparison on both of the Red 13 figures made by PlayArtSky. So of course we have the original Red 13 from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. This is still such a nice figure. I mean, it's such an old piece. I would say it probably came out around 2015, so it is a fairly old figure. And of course we have the new remake, which just came out in 2022. I mean, they're both very similar. They have a pretty similar body shape. I would say the sculpting is a lot different, and the articulation is pretty similar as well. So yeah, which one do you guys like better? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so let's take a look at the head sculpts. So now I will make a full comparison review on both of these figures, so if you guys want to check that out, then it will be on the channel. But for this video, I just want to give you guys a quick look at the main differences on both of these figures. So here we have the head sculpt for the original AC Red XIII. I still love this head sculpt so much. I mean, it does look a bit cartoony, you know, it looks a bit outdated, whereas this one looks more realistic, and I do think the head sculpt is probably better overall, but I still love this Red XIII. And here we have the shoulder with the Red XIII symbol, quite nicely painted. And of course on the remake, we have the same symbol. So we have a nice side-by-side comparison. And here we have the original Red XIII. So as you can see, this Red XIII is a lot more bulky. He's a lot more buff compared to the remake. But I do think the remake is a lot more detailed. You can see all the fur, all the muscle definitions sculpted in there. Whereas the detailing on the original, it's very faint, but it does have quite a nice paint job, and I still love this face. But I just think the remake is probably a lot better. And so here are the figures from the front. So this is the original Red XIII. You can see his teeth in there, all the gums. And of course we have the remake head sculpt from the front. So yeah, that's a quick comparison on both of these Red XIIIs. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at how you move the mouth on the figure. So as you can see right now, I've got the mouth closed, but you can kind of just bend it up like so to expose the teeth. And you can also open up the bottom half of the mouth to expose the tongue, which is really, really cool. It's a, a pretty menacing looking expression on his face. He looks very angry, as if he's about to, about to attack. He's about to fight. So yeah, you can really open up the mouth pretty wide, and you can see his tongue in there, all the teeth, the gums, the back of the throat right there. The mouth also opens up a lot more compared to the original Red 13 from AC. So I just think this is a really cool feature. And of course you can also move the eye on the figure if you pop off the headpiece, and it's on the ball joints. So yeah, pretty cool feature. Okay, so here's just a quick look at the Red 13 besides Cat Sith. So this is the Cat Sith from AC, but I really hope that they make a remake version to go along with the remake Red 13. But yeah, here's how they look. They look great as a pair. I mean, such a great duo. Just thought some of you guys may want to check this out. So yeah, that is a quick look. So I would say the figure's got pretty good articulation, seeing as there's nothing really in the way to hinder the posability. So right here at the head sculpt, we have a ball joint in there. We have a hinge joint at the mouth, and you can really open it up, as you guys can see. These here pieces of hair at the side are made out of a soft piece of plastic, so you can kind of bend them. But the top of the mane right here is made out of a hard piece. So at the neck, we have this really large hinge joints, as you can see, and we have these ball hinge joints at the shoulders, and these are very fluid joints. So we have a ball hinge joints at the elbow and the ball hinge joints at the wrist, and we have a hinge joint at the toe. So now as for the chest piece, we have a ball joint in there, and we also have a ball joint at the waists. So as for the back of the leg, we have this ball ratchet joints, if you guys can hear that, and we have a hinge joint, a ball hinge joint right here, and a ball hinge joints at the ankle piece, and another ball hinge joint right here. It seems like we have a hinge joints at the toe as well. So as for the tail, we have it's made out of a piece of bandy material, so you can pose it any which way you want, and it will hold that position, which is a really nice touch. And of course, right there we have the flame, which is made out of a translucent piece of material, and it's also pretty bendy. So yeah, that's a look at the articulation for Red 13. Okay, so that about wraps it up for the PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake Red 13. So this is a very nice figure, and it's been a pretty long awaited figure. So I would say if you guys missed out on the original Red 13, then yeah, definitely pick up this figure, because who knows, it may get rare in the future, so you don't want to miss out on this figure, because they're most likely not to make another Red 13 anytime soon. So yes, I highly recommend this figure. Anyhow guys, as I mentioned before, I will have a review of every single figure here, so if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe, and be sure to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these remake figure reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy guys.